You know, when you're young, 40 years sounds like forever. Like a distant future that doesn't even seem real. When I was 20, I looked at 40-year-olds as if they were from another planet, too far removed from my youthful energy and ambition to understand what I was going through. Back then, I had it all mapped out in my mind. I believed that by 30, I'd have all the answers. I'd be financially free, living with purpose, waking up happy every day with a clear sense of direction. But here I am, decades later, not with a perfect life, but with real experience, hard-earned wisdom carved into me by time. And what I want to offer you now isn't theory or recycled self-help fluff. It's the truth born out of quiet suffering, patient growth, and relentless reflection. What I'm about to say may not change your life in a flash, but it can save you years of wandering and confusion if you truly listen and absorb. The first thing I learned, and unfortunately I learned it the hard way, is this: time is infinitely more valuable than money. I spent too many years trading my hours for mere scraps, believing that staying busy was the same as being productive. I thought that being constantly in motion meant I was making progress. But I was wrong. I wasn't building anything. I was spinning in place, exhausted and unfulfilled. You see, money comes and goes. You can lose $100 and earn it back tomorrow. But time, once a moment is gone, it's never coming back. You can't rewind it, can't repurchase it, can't reclaim it. That's why I say, don't just be a manager of tasks, be a master of your hours. Guard your time like treasure. Audit your calendar like it's your bank account. Because at the end of your life, it's not the dollars that will matter, it's the hours you used with purpose, passion, and peace. Next, let me talk about something that transformed everything for me: philosophy. It's not just an academic subject for people with tweed jackets and old books. It's not abstract, it's not disconnected from real life. In fact, your philosophy is your life. I was 25 when I finally understood that. Before then, I was reacting to life rather than creating it. But the moment I realized that the way I think shapes everything I do, I started paying attention. Your philosophy is the lens through which you see the world. It's the foundation beneath every decision you make, whether about money, relationships, health, or purpose. If you believe life is against you, you'll find enemies in every shadow. If you believe life is for you, every challenge becomes a chance to grow. So don't waste your energy rearranging surface things. Go deeper. Rebuild the way you see and think. Upgrade your philosophy, and the rest of your life will rise to meet it. There's a misconception that we get paid for our time. I used to believe it. I thought if I just worked longer hours, if I just stayed late and showed up early, eventually the money would follow. But life doesn't reward effort alone. It rewards value. The market pays for solutions, for skills, for wisdom, not time. That's why two people can work the same hours but earn drastically different incomes. I remember when I was making $57 a week. I worked hard, but I didn't bring anything unique to the table. Years later, I earned millions. Not because I worked more hours, but because I became more valuable. I invested in learning. I studied problems people were desperate to solve. I practiced my craft until I was irreplaceable. The shift wasn't external, it was internal. If you want more income, don't start with your boss. Start with you. Learn more. Serve better. Grow deeper. That's how you multiply your value. Let me share a truth that took me far too long to learn. Discipline is the bridge between where you are and where you want to be. Goals are common. Everyone has them. Everyone wants more, dreams big, makes plans. But discipline? That's rare. That's what separates the dreamers from the doers. I had goals too, huge ones. But they stayed trapped in notebooks and vision boards until I embraced the often boring, unglamorous discipline of daily action. Want to write a book? Start with 5 pages a day. Want clarity? Spend 15 minutes each morning planning. Discipline is what transforms intention into reality. It's the small daily decisions, the choice to show up, to persist, to follow through, that stack up over time. Greatness isn't built in a weekend of inspiration. It's forged in months and years of quiet, consistent work. So set your goals, yes, but then build the bridge. Walk it every day, because dreams without discipline are just fantasies. Now this one stings, but it's vital. Life does not respond to what you need, it responds to what you deserve. That's not always easy to accept, especially when you feel stuck. I remember sitting alone in my small apartment, broke, discouraged, asking the universe why nothing was working for me. Why wasn't I getting the breakthrough, the opportunity, the success I believed I needed? And then it hit me like a cold wind. I hadn't earned it. I hadn't sown the seeds necessary for a harvest. I hadn't shown up consistently, hadn't served anyone deeply, hadn't added enough value. I was waiting on blessings I hadn't prepared for. Life is a mirror. It reflects your output. You want more? Then give more. Want better relationships, better health, better income? Then deserve them. Or not through entitlement, but through effort. Do the work. Make the calls. Sharpen the skill. Show up with integrity. Life rewards action, not complaints. Sow the seeds and the harvest will come. Success isn't something you catch. It's something you attract. And you attract it not by chasing opportunities or hustling nonstop, but by becoming the kind of person success is drawn to. That lesson changed my entire approach to life. I used to think success was external, something I'd stumble upon or someone would give me if I worked hard enough. But success doesn't respond to desperation or chaos. It's magnetized to character, to mindset, to inner growth. The more I worked on myself, my habits, my attitude, my emotional intelligence, the more doors opened. Not magically, but naturally. Opportunities came because I was prepared to handle them. People trusted me, listened to me, invited me in, not because I asked, but because I had become worthy of it. You can't shortcut this. The inner work is the real work. When you shift who you are, what you attract will change. Success isn't luck. It's alignment between who you are and what you desire. Let me warn you of a silent killer of dreams, majoring in minor things. I've done it. I've spent whole years tangled in details that didn't matter, giving energy to things that brought me no closer to my purpose, watching endless news cycles, arguing with people who had no impact on my life, stressing over the opinions of strangers. I was busy, but I was busy with nonsense. And here's the truth. Every day, your brain has a limited supply of decision-making power and energy. If you spend it all on the trivial, you'll have nothing left for what's truly important. Learn to distinguish between activity and productivity. Not everything urgent is important. Not everything loud deserves your attention. Protect your focus like it's gold. Simplify your priorities. Ask yourself daily, will this move my life forward? If not, drop it. Your energy is finite. Wisely. Major in the things that make your life, not the things that steal it. One of the most liberating things I ever learned was this: be a student, not a follower. There's a huge difference. Students ask questions, seek understanding, and learn from many sources, but they don't lose themselves in the process. Followers, on the other hand, surrender their thinking. They cling to gurus, mimic others blindly, and often get lost in borrowed beliefs. Early in life, I wanted mentors so badly that I almost forgot to develop my own mind. I repeated what I heard, but I didn't examine it. I took advice without testing it. But real growth came when I started thinking critically, questioning even the people I admired. Wisdom doesn't belong to any one person. It's gathered through living, through reflecting, through paying attention to results. So learn from everyone, but don't worship anyone. Take notes, yes, but also take responsibility for filtering truth through your own experience. Be humble enough to learn, but courageous enough to think for yourself. Now, relationships are the hidden architecture of your life. They build you up or break you down more than you realize. I used to think I could rise regardless of who I surrounded myself with, that my mindset alone would carry me. I was wrong. Your environment matters. If you walk with complainers, your vision gets foggy. If you walk with gossipers, your peace gets polluted. But if you walk with disciplined, wise, purpose-driven people, you can't help but elevate. I had to make painful decisions, to distance myself from people I loved, not because they were bad, but because they weren't growing. They weren't helping me sharpen my edge. It hurt, but growth often does. Love people, yes, but choose your inner circle wisely. Who you spend the most time with will shape your standards, influence your habits, and color your outlook. Protect your energy. Surround yourself with those who remind you of who you're becoming, not who you used to be. Information is everywhere, but transformation is rare. We live in an age where you can learn anything: how to start a business, master a skill, fix your mindset at the tap of a screen. And yet, millions of people are stuck. Why? Because they confuse knowing with doing. I did too. I read hundreds of books, attended every seminar, took notes like a man on fire, but nothing changed because I wasn't applying what I learned. I was full of insight, but empty on results. Then it hit me. Learning means nothing without action. One applied principle is worth more than 1,000 unread books. True wisdom isn't measured in how much you've consumed. It's measured in how much you live. I'd rather read one paragraph that I implement fully than skim a dozen books and stay the same. So read, study, absorb, but then act. Change your schedule. Adjust your habits. Make that call. Your next level won't come from knowing more, but doing more. Here's a truth I resisted for years. Your self-worth is your income ceiling. You can hustle all day, stack skills, network like a machine, but if deep down you don't believe you're worthy of success, you'll find a way to sabotage it. I've done it. I've talked myself out of opportunities, priced myself too low, and doubted my worth even when others believed in me. Why? Because I hadn't upgraded my self-image. And that internal identity, your belief about who you are, sets the limits on what you allow into your life. If you see yourself as average, you'll unconsciously resist excellence. If you see yourself as undeserving, you'll reject abundance. But here's the fix. You don't fake confidence. You build it by keeping promises to yourself. You say you'll wake up early? Do it. You say you'll read daily? Follow through. Every time you honor your word, you earn self-trust. And self-trust, that's the true root of unshakable confidence and lasting success. Pain is a brutal, beautiful teacher. I ran from it for years, avoiding hard conversations, numbing myself with distractions, pretending everything was okay when it wasn't. But pain has a way of finding you, and when it does, it speaks in a voice you can't ignore. Rejection taught me resilience. Failure taught me humility. Betrayal taught me boundaries. These weren't classroom lessons. They were carved into my soul through sleepless nights and broken dreams. But here's what I know now. The moments that hurt the most often become the moments that shape us the deepest. Pain strips away illusions. It shows you what matters. It forces you to grow. I don't welcome suffering, but I no longer fear it, because I've learned that every scar holds a story. Every heartbreak left me wiser. Strength isn't born in comfort, it's forged in fire. So when life breaks you down, don't curse the pain. Learn from it, let it shape you, then rise. Money used to be my main goal. I thought once I had it, everything else would fall into place. Freedom, happiness, peace, but I was wrong. Money is not the goal, it's the result. The result of becoming a person who creates, who serves, who solves problems at scale. The moment I shifted from chasing cash to chasing value, everything changed. I stopped asking, how can I make money? And started asking, how can I help someone today? How can I solve a real problem? When you show up with solutions, people pay for that. The world rewards those who make life easier, better, more efficient. Don't get me wrong, there's nothing wrong with wanting money. But if you make it your idol, it will always elude you. Make wisdom your pursuit. Make service your lifestyle. The money will come as a byproduct. Focus on becoming valuable, and the value will return to you multiplied. Here's something that saved me when my motivation ran dry. Systems. At first, I thought success was about passion and motivation. Those adrenaline spikes of inspiration that make you want to take over the world. But motivation fades. It's unreliable. It disappears when you're tired, discouraged, or overwhelmed. That's where systems come in. A system is a structure, a habit, a routine that works even when you don't feel like it. I created systems for my mornings, my learning, my business, and those systems carried me through my low points. When I didn't want to work, the system did. When I lacked focus, the routine kept me steady. You don't rise to the level of your goals. You fall to the level of your systems. So build systems that move you forward daily. Automate progress. Ritualize discipline. Create habits so strong you don't have to rely on willpower, because consistency, not intensity, is what builds greatness over time. Forgiveness changed my life. For years, I carried resentment like luggage, grudges, betrayals, painful memories I couldn't let go of. I thought holding on made me strong, that it gave me power. But it didn't. It poisoned me. Bitterness chained me to the past and blinded me to the future. And then one day I realized forgiveness isn't about letting others off the hook. It's about setting yourself free. You can't fly if you're anchored. You can't receive new blessings with fists clenched in anger. Forgiveness doesn't mean you forget. It means you release. You say, I refuse to let this wound define me any longer, and in that release, you reclaim your peace. I had to forgive people who never apologized. And I had to forgive myself, too, for past mistakes, for not knowing better, for staying too long. That's when my healing began. Forgiveness is strength. It's freedom. It's the door to everything beautiful that comes next. One more thing that changed me: celebrate the small wins. Don't wait till you hit the big goal to feel good. Every act of discipline, every hour of effort, every step forward, reward it. Train your mind to see progress. Because what you recognize, you reinforce. And what you reinforce becomes who you are. You know what else I discovered? Gratitude multiplies what you have. When I was broke, I thought I had nothing to be grateful for. But when I started writing down 3 things a day I appreciated, suddenly I had more energy, more creativity, more clarity. Gratitude opens your eyes to opportunities that were always there. And above all, purpose gives pain meaning. If you don't know why you're doing it, the struggle will feel unbearable. But when you have purpose, you'll endure anything. You'll wake up early. You'll work late. Or you'll sacrifice now for later because it's worth it. You're not just working, you're building something eternal. So, yes, it took me 40 years to realize all of this. Now I give it to you in 15 minutes. If you're listening, if you're ready, you don't have to take 40 years. You can take action today. Just remember, success is not one giant leap. It's 1,000 small decisions made daily, backed by wisdom, purpose, and discipline. You've got the time. Now you just need the commitment.